Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 8th EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup here in PyeongChang. This is the second run of the men's singles. We have had an incredible evenings, mornings, wherever you are in the world, morning of action. Curve 9 has delivered as expected, and here we see in the men's singles David Gleicher currently in third place. David Gleicher, the last man to win on this track, as that was 7 years ago, and Dominik Fischnaller currently in second place, looking smooth as always, but rolling back the years. Wolfie Kindl of Austria, having just come off the back of winning a gold medal in doubles, an hour later is on the cusp of winning a gold medal in singles, should everything go well. My name is Mark Hatton. I'm here with Reed Watts, and we're with you for the next hour or so as we go through the final 20 athletes racing in the second run of this Luge World Cup. Welcome back, Reed.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. This has been a really interesting night of racing for sure. From the women's doubles, men's doubles, and the first run of the men's singles. We're in for a show.
Now, that's an interesting stat on the screen. The ice seems to be getting warmer as the night closes in. We're now up to -4. So that could make a difference in terms of the spritz.
Yeah, it could be. It's very interesting. But the big thing, too, that's often the killer with track conditions is humidity, which is seeming to be no factor here.
Well, that's it. We were saying earlier that we have something I haven't seen before, a dry weather warning. But something we have seen before is this beautiful graphic of the track, Reed. Tell us a little bit about the track.
Yeah, well, again, this track, as we've seen from all the racing today, is no joke from top to bottom. The men from the very top have to be on it from corner 2 all the way down. Couple of key points here, corner 2. Corner 6 has been giving some problems as well. Corner 9, of course, into that super tricky chicane is absolutely the crux of the track. And then corner 13 been catching people out. And then 15 as well into that uphill section, corner 16, where you can't lose any time.
For sure. I think for me, it's been corner 15 that's been interesting for me, how that has really been quite a separator for a lot of athletes. And also 13. We didn't see much drama in 13. Talk us down the track, though, Reed.
Yeah, so corner 2 being one of the hardest ones. Now we're in corner 5, where the speed really starts to pick up into the kind of 100 kilometer an hour. And corner 6 here, a little tricky one, which sets you into 7 here, which really is the key point to setting up your corner 9, your corner 8. Coming into the crux of the track here, corner 9 have to be perfect on this exit, shoot the chicane, thread the needle into a big sweeping corner 12. Coming into the small right-hander corner 13, which has been giving a lot of athletes problems, and then into 14. Really important to get this exit drive nice to set your line perfectly into the entrance of 15, so you carry that momentum really quick to the top.
That's great. And I feel like when this was filmed, this POV, I think maybe the track was a little rounder. It looks the entrances and exits look a little bit more abrupt today.
Yeah, a little bit. It's really interesting. And there's certain parts that have been causing troubles that back 7 years ago weren't either. Granted, we had a lot more training those 7 years before, too, with training weeks, or pre-Olympic test events. All these athletes here, especially the new ones that have never been here, are kind of coming into this just fresh.
Yeah, just relying on stories and old videos from 2018. So there we have our start list for the second run, and opening the proceedings for us is Eddie Krasian, who made it through to the final 20. Then Rasmus Moberg, who was so impressive. And then moving down the list, Tucker West in 11, who got a start record earlier today. Falazzo looking to make it into the top 10, Alex Falazzo of Australia. And let's go down to the business end, Wolfgang Kindl leading, and that battle between Max Langenhan and Nico Gleicher.
And that's exactly it, too. As I've said before, right, we saw this really in the women's doubles, too. It takes 2 runs, right? So anything can happen in this second run. A lot of people could climb the ladder. A lot of action could happen, too.
Absolutely. And, I mean, looking at that list, between first and second, we're talking 29 thousandths between Kindl and Fischnaller. I mean, there's not a lot in it at the business end.
Not at all.
So, setting us off for this final run of the night's entertainment, ladies and gentlemen, is Eddie Krasian of Romania.
Question, Romania.
Just waiting for that green light now. Getting locked in. Good to see him getting a second run here. See if he can clean up some of those mistakes and move up a couple spots.
Yeah, there were flashes of genius on his first run, for sure.
Absolutely, just has to put it together now.
Good committed start from Eddie Gracian as he gets us going with a 2:63.2. My name's Mark Hatton. I'm here with Reid Watts, formerly of Team Canada, who two-time Olympian, who came 12th on this track in the PyeongChang Olympics about 100 years ago.
About 100 years ago, that's right. Or 7. So far looking really tidy here. A little squirrely out of the exit of 7. See if he can get his composure here for the exit of 9. Not quite, a little early out, but he saves that really well here.
Yeah, I like that composure and that calm that he brought to the proceedings there when that could have gone very badly wrong. And he just kept his cool, stayed relaxed, and got away with it. A little late into 16, gets thrown up in the entrance of 16. That costs a little bit of time. But Eddie Gracian down in a 49.424. So 3/10 or 2/10 slower than his last run. Thinking the track may have slowed down because that actually looked like a much better run for Eddie.
Yeah, I think so too, especially in that top section. Looking good here, but just didn't get that steer off of corner 7 enough. And then right here, corner 9. Doesn't have that height towards the exit, stuck on that slider's right wall, but he does a really good job at making a big mistake a lot smaller.
It's almost about absorbing that hit on the left wall so you don't get airborne, isn't it? It's almost like you soften your body and absorb it.
A bit of that, and also a bit of luck on your side, too. I speak from experience.
Okay, from Sweden, Rasmus Moberg. Again, we're going to say it again. The Swedes have just been so impressive. I'm so glad to see a strong Swedish presence on tour again as one of the, the traditional sliding nations. And Rasmus Moberg is really bringing a lot to this tour these days.
Yeah, and looking pretty good in this top section, too. Looking really committed, really going for it here.
Really stretching out there, Moberg.
Yeah, he wants it.
Again, just getting thrown up in the entrance of 8, but that hasn't phased him too much. Bit flat across the middle. If he can keep it on, he does. He manages to keep control. I no idea how he managed that.
Very interesting line in 9. Somehow held on to it.
And he's still building speed. He's up by almost 4/10, but just hammers the entrance of 15. Gets him across to 16. He should keep his lead even with that mistake in 15. And he does by almost half a second. That's Rasmus Moberg moving into first place for Sweden.
There you go. Just holding on to it, but he was committed top to bottom. He was planted. He was going for it. Some crazy lines, but he made the best out of it.
That's true. That was great. I'm really impressed with these guys. There were some less than optimal lines, but I mean, that line out of 9, he got away with it.
Got away with it.
It doesn't
really
matter how you do
9.
it, as long as you do it.
That's right.
And look at that. Really good position going in there, but maybe just leaving a little too much of it up to fate. Just bumping onto 15. That's an expensive mistake. But Rasmus Moberg can be proud of a job well done and look forward to next week's World Cup finals in Beijing as we move to number 18 and Seiya Kobayashi of Japan. Big, determined start from Kobayashi. Obviously been putting in the hours in that beautiful start facility in Lake Placid that USA Luge have recently built. Little high in corner 2.
Yeah, I'd agree there. It looks like the entrance into corner 3 is built nice and forgiving right now because he looked really high there, but that's good. He's making the best of it. He was a lot straighter down the ramp than he was on the first run here, so there's definitely time that he's going to be hunting for in this second run.
I like that transition from 7 to 8, that smoother transition without the early height, and that sets him up for success.
There we
out
go.
Of 9. 122 kilometers an hour, still in the green. Kobayashi's chasing down Moberg now, but he's only got 1/10 of a second to do it in, so he needs to make this perfect. He's on a little earlier. Just pushing it across as much as he can. And crossing the finish line with a final time of 1:37.848. And ahead of Moberg by 0.3 of a second goes Seiya Kobayashi, keeping his start number and looking pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a big improvement off of his first run there, so we can definitely leave here with a good smile on his face.
I feel we saw this in the doubles as well, and you alluded to it, Reed, that because they've had so few runs on this track, almost the first run is just another training run where these athletes are trying to get as much data as they can. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a few coaches on the radio on the track during run one.
Absolutely right. It's still a learning experience. With such limited runs, you got to take every opportunity you can. They're still trying to figure it out.
So Valentin Cretu of Romania gets us going again at the top. Qualifier from Nations Cup, Cretu, and straight into the green ahead of Kobayashi. Using all that experience he's got, he slid here in the 2018 Olympics, had a very solid finish, and Cretu looking good here, but losing a little bit of time on Kobayashi, just down to 0.05 of a second.
Yeah, I found a lot of the time with Valentin this season. He's been sliding quite well, but just not finding the speed.
Okay, this looks a little fruity
either.
Manages to get away with it into 11. A little high on the exit, though. Stretching out round 14, still in the green. Nice late entrance to that. A beautiful 15 there.
That might be enough.
That should keep him the lead, and it does by 0.05 of a second ahead of Kobayashi. Valentin Cretu keeps his start number as well. Into the lead goes Valentin Cretu of Romania ahead of Seiya Kobayashi of Japan. Wow. It's I feel the standard of sliding from, now I hate the phrase lower order athletes, but not the top three, let's say.
Right.
Some still on their journey, and some still learning. It's just improved and improved.
Absolutely, but even the top guys, they're still learning too, right? It's always a learning thing, right? Whether it's sled, new tracks, this is always learning.
Yeah.
Just when you think you've got it figured out, oh my.
Yeah, it's there's very few sports in the world that can humble you quite as quickly as the sport of luge. And so we come to number 21, current rank 16, Alex Guffler, young Italian from the Südtirol. Really impressed me, this guy. Really has.
Yeah, me too. He's been kind of popping in and out of the senior tour for quite some time now, but it looks like he's here to stay now, which is really great to see. So it's just about building that consistency and really having those good runs here.
Nice strong paddles there for Alex Guffler, and as you can see on start, straight into the lead by 0.25 of a second ahead of Valentin. Very high in 2 though.
Yep, cutting some ice going into 3. They're just built too much pressure on 2 there.
I think you're right there about that forgiving entrance profile into 3. There are years where they wouldn't have gotten away with that line in 2 for sure.
Yeah, that's right. It must be built open there. Not open, sorry, yeah. Closed. Let's see what he does out of 9 here. Just right in the edge. Just squeezes through. So tight, nothing in it.
Guffler making it through the dragon cell by the skin of his teeth as we go into 14. Gives himself time to get his senses together and try to make some more time from 15 to 16. And he manages. He cuts nicely towards the finish line and straight into the lead. Guffler with a commanding 6.5 lead ahead of Cretu. Shaking his head, but pretty good.
Yeah, exactly right. It's just been both runs that corner too, right? Getting too high on that exit there, building too much pressure right up there with the boards, and then coming in here, bumping early into corner 3, and then just cutting some ice right there. That'll just...
Well, yeah, as we know, any mistake in the top of any track, but especially PyeongChang, is going to be incredibly expensive. As you see him just miss that little nub on the wall by probably less than a centimeter.
Yeah, there was nothing in it with that early exit of corner 9, but he got away with it.
So we're Guffler, Cretu, Kobayashi, Moberg, your top 4. So Leon Felder, currently ranked in 15th position. Be great for him to break into the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely had some time left out on that first run. Going to look down to throw an absolute heater here.
And Leon has all the talent in the world. He really does. He's straight out of the mold of those great Italian sliders.
Yeah, that's right. Strong program.
Really strong program for a country without a track.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon.
That's
we
right.
will see. And great line round 8 there from, sorry, round 6 there from Guffler. Little high in the entrance of 8 though. That's going to cost him. Manages to stick the exit on 9 down the Dragon's Tail, and he's moved further into the green.
Wait, that peaky 13 again. Really high in the entrance, out early.
Yeah, and that big bump onto the entrance of 14. Great 15. Nice line up to 16. That's going to catch him some time. And it does.
Only just.
Yeah, 500ths of a second, a wee bit less, ahead of the competition. That puts Felderer into first place.
Yeah, that corner 13 again, too. Just when you think you got out of corner 9 and you have a second to breathe in 12, it just comes right back at you again.
He does, yeah.
It really does.
You see him, I think this is where he just gets thrown up in the entrance very high in 8. Probably 10 centimeters off the boards there in 8, but kept his cool.
And right here, that peaky early entrance into, or early height in 13, sorry.
13 is an interesting curve because it actually folds over beyond verticals. So there's a time when the athletes, if they take that high line, they're actually inverted for a split second, which is pretty cool to watch.
Cool to watch, not where you want to be.
Not where you want to be. Mateusz Sokovic of Poland now. This is a great competition for Sokovic today. I feel he'll be happy with where he is in this pack in 14th place.
Exactly, just has to pick another one down here, maybe even move up a couple spots too.
Little rise on the exit there, though, of 7.
Handles it well. Just squeezing through, only just. It's not going to be quite as fast, I don't think, but as long as he has a commanding bottom section, beautiful 13.
Let's see how 15 is. Looking good from there, but no, sends it across a little early.
That'd be tight.
But Sokovic into first place ahead of Felderer with a lead of 500ths.
Yeah, 14th, no worse.
I think that's a pretty good day at the track for Mateusz there, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I feel this is one of those athletes as well that's so close to a breakthrough to the next level of his sliding as well. You know, you just see them. We've all seen it over the years where athletes, they kind of get stuck on a level and they're just, something changes and they just take a step up immediately.
Yeah, super close, and what a time, right, to make that step, hopefully, for that Olympic season.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Sokovic, Felderer, Gufler, and Kretu, your leaders at this almost halfway point. Johnny Gustafsson off the back of his Nations Cup victory.
And he has found speed this season for sure.
Yeah, he's looking more relaxed, I feel, on the sled. He's always kind of hung pretty loose, but I feel this season he's really just molding his body into his sled as he slides. He looks much more comfortable.
Exactly, almost 4/10 up there, almost. But it all comes down to this bottom section here. Looking good through 8.
A little bit scared. Johnny's got to keep it going here, and he manages to get it into 11 there.
Quite a lot of time in the bank, and just still building for now. Yeah, this goes in the upper section.
Very early to 15 though.
Gets the cross into 16 though. But loses a little bit more.
You know, it's interesting. You get that early bump onto 15, and it should be bad, but if you get it really early, it seems to give you a little bit across to 16.
It gives you that
and it's
hook.
not fast, but it's probably faster than driving the entirety of that straightaway uphill across to 16.
Yeah, exactly. And when we were here last too, when the ice was so hard, there was no room for doing that whatsoever.
Here we see Johnny using every bit of his experience to keep the sled going in a good road. As you see him just bump onto 15 there, but keeps his cool and actually got quite a nice exit there. Johnny Gustafsson of the USA into first place. So it's Gustafsson, Sokovic, and Felderer, your top 3.
He knows that was a bit of a loose one there.
So Anton Dukac of Ukraine, currently ranked in 12th. A little bit of a cushion here.
Could be on the outside looking into a top 10 with a really good one here.
And that would be great to see. Really would. You know, someone that's been plugging away on the tour for many years. 14 thousandths of a second back, but straight into the green with an acceptable curve too, Reed.
I'll take it, yeah, absolutely. Looking good here, but not quite enough so far. 3100ths back right now, but if you can keep it tidy in this bottom section, let's see it move up.
Okay, it's looking like a nice curve 8.
Good height. That's it. Looking good.
That's definitely the ticket from Dukash as he takes it into the deep end of this track, into the lower curves, just bumping onto 14, but back into the green by 400ths of a second, just getting a nice entrance to 15. Going to have to push it across. He manages to, but it's get thrown up in the entrance of 16. That's going to cost him time. It ended up costing him about 0.2 of a second, looking at that split time, but still, he does enough to get first place ahead of Gustafsson.
And he's happy with that.
Yeah, I feel that's an expensive mistake, that that high entrance in 16, because it tends to throw you up and then you get dropped down in the middle and the rest of your life is uphill.
Yeah, and that's exactly it too. I've remember going that late into 16 when you don't get that height in 15. As soon as that sled takes on the entrance of 16, you just hear that crunch of the ice underneath you, just cutting time.
Watching it, you see the sled visually just slow down.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sucks all the speed out. Thankfully, it's not too far from the finish line.
But still, we're fighting for thousands here, right? So
absolutely. And talking of thousandths of a second, in the lead after the first run by 8 thousandths of a second. Kaspars Rinks.
Yeah, this young Latvian slider definitely has moments of brilliance here. Just needs to get more exposure to these tracks in the World Cup Tour, and he will be an absolute force.
Bumped on a little early onto the start curve there, but it didn't seem to affect him too much. He's still in the green, still keeping his cool. Lovely position on the sled.
Yeah, it was a great recovery in corner 2. I remember that being just a death sentence going in there early, but he did a great job at holding that on.
Yeah, just tapping a foot into 8. Probably a good choice of strategy, but just going to catch going in there. Manages to find that G point in the entrance of 11, which probably saved him, to be fair, and only back by 0.03 of a second, Reed.
We've seen it's really hard to gain time in this bottom section. He does have a really nice 15 and good into 16s, though, so this could be tight at the end. Not enough.
Dukash climbs one more spot to that coveted top 10 as Rinks does enough for second place. Well, this is turning into quite the race throughout the pack, I feel. It's we're seeing considerably better runs on arguably harder ice for the second run as the night draws in, but actually far less mistakes on this second run.
Yeah, exactly, and these mistakes we've seen so far to corner 9-2 have not been nearly as catastrophic either.
So it's Dukash to Rinks to Gustafsson to Sokovic, your top 4, separated by 0.6 of a second. As we go to our current start track record holder from the Nations Cup today, Tucker West.
See if he can better his start record on this last start here.
He was close to it on the last run, to be fair. A little bit of a wobbly settle,
but still have that momentum from the paddles that'll help him out a lot. Really nice corner 2, solid entrance into 3, looking really good on this sled. He's going for it.
Yeah, I love that curve 3, that low racing line.
Yeah.
Looking smooth here, Tucker. A little late into 8.
Save though.
Hold on,
just airborne there. That's going to be tough to get through.
Still in the green at this checkpoint, and still ahead by almost 0.05 of a second, but into the red. He's got to find something here. I don't think he's going to have enough track left.
No, that mistake in 9 was too big.
And into third place goes Tucker Westley, USA, which puts Dukash, I think, into the top 10, or maybe 11th.
No worse than top 10. No worse than top 10. Yeah, that's tough for Tucker. He was really going for it there, but just lost traction out of corner 9. Didn't quite stick that landing there, and then you could see the sled in the slow-mo here. He hits that nub just as the track drops away, gets airborne there, and then you can just see all the ice he cuts right here in 12. Just hockey stopping there.
It's tough to come back from if not impossible to find speed after a mistake like that. But I think Tucker, again, flashes of fantastic sliding there. And 9 is it's an incredibly cruel curve.
No kidding.
You know, the punishment doesn't really fit the crime.
Man.
Okay, Alex Falazzo of Australia. Regular visitor to the top 10. Pulls a little bit wonky towards the left there, but doesn't seem to affect him. He gets a nice smooth one straight into the green.
Made it work. But that strong paddles and momentum will be good enough for that little wobble at the start there.
Falazzo, of course, with that historic 5th place finish in Altenburg in last year's World Championships.
Just over the last 2 years, what him and Duncan have been working on, he's looking so comfortable on that sled, and it's great to see the times working for him.
Yeah, and it's lovely to see that.
Yeah, beautiful corner 9.
That partnership he has with the Canadian team, a real embedded partnership where he's treated as a full team member.
Absolutely, and here he is, just finishing up a real solid run here, going to be enough to take the lead.
Falazzo flies into the lead with 1:36.229 final time and a lead of 0.2 of a second. As Alex Falazzo of Australia on the top step of the leaders box with not many sleds to go.
Yeah, real solid run here.
6 sleds to go.
No worse than top 9 for Alex here, and he's just looking so comfortable on the sled. Even though they had no runs on this track recently, he's just looking at home, just really gelled out, good position on the sled, hitting all his lines really well. Real solid performance from Falazzo.
Absolutely. So I said 6 sleds to go. That was a test. There's in fact 8 sleds to go. So Falazzo looking for, well, going to achieve a top 10 finish here, and I think he can be incredibly happy with that. And again, he is hitting his peak at a really good time. So Nico Gleischer, big race for the world number 2, trying to close the gap between him and Max Langenhan. This is the race within the race.
Absolutely has to keep that gap nice and close with Langenhan to keep the race going into Beijing for the overall.
Really stretching out through the top curves, finding those thousandths.
Building on his lead here.
And 9, as expected, inch perfect. Beautiful curve, 9 at 127 kilometers an hour, still in the green. Little choppy into 13, little late into 14, but this experience is starting to show. He's trying to find every thousandth of a second. The lead's getting cut down, though, as he goes around 16, ahead by 0.3 of a second of Falazzo. Lost some time down the track there with that very, very good curve 9, but somewhere through the bottom, I think 13, 14 probably.
13, I saw that sled want to break away to the right there, right? That's it, where it kind of drops away into 14. If you're not perfect on the line, this will break into a skid, right? And then you get in that pressure of corner 14, and the sled's not perfectly straight. You're just cutting more ice.
But great commitment there, letting the sled run down 9, trusting himself, trusting his sled. Nico Gleischer into first place, Falazzo in second, Dukash in third. So the second Austrian, Jonas Müller, well, the third Austrian we've seen so far in the second run. Both Gleischers down, now Jonas Müller.
He knows how to be quick when it matters.
Another one that, in a very competitive team, absolutely earns his place week in, week out. 15 thousandths of a second cushion. It's not a lot. It looks like Gleischer might have done something pretty special.
This is where it's all made, right here, corner 9. He has the height in the right place. Oh, just squeezing it through, fighting for it, and just gets through.
Into the red, back into the green. Only 2 thousandths of a second in it. It's dropping to 8 thousandths of a second.
Really clean exit of 13, though. He's back in the green.
Drifts across to the right. That's not going to help him, but it may be enough. Crossing the finish line. knocking Nico Gleischer back and ahead Jonas Müller by 600ths of a second.
I think Jonas had that win right there, right out of 13. He kept it nice and straight. The sled was right in that perfect middle line, no skidding. Right when that pressure hits, you can just build more speed into that bottom section.
I think you're right. It's one of very few relatively optimal curve 13s we've seen today from the entire field.
Yeah, right there. Oh, just missed the exit there, but right there, 14. Beautiful shot of that long corner there.
So, with 6 sleds to go, ladies and gentlemen, here is the redemption tour for Felix Locke. He threw down in Whistler, got a silver medal in the World Championships. Now, are we going to see some vintage Locke on run number 2? Well, with the aggression on that start, I'm suggesting it's a strong possibility, Reed.
Still has it. First place start time so far in this field.
Felix looking composed through these top curves. That's a lovely curve too. Wee bit early to 3, but nothing to write home about as he goes through the top curves with real finesse. Is he going to get thrown up in the entrance of 8? He manages to contain that little pressure point in the entrance of 8.
Whoa, just squeezes through. The sled was breaking out, just holding on here. That's going to cost him a bit of time.
Gets thrown up high in 13 as well. That's going to cost him time. But that 15 is very, very beautiful to watch. As he crosses the finish line into the lead, Felix Locke ahead of Jonas Müller by almost a tenth of a second, 800ths of a second. I wouldn't say it's vintage Locke, but it's not far off it. And you don't want to be peaking too early. So maybe he's just keeping a little bit in the locker.
Just getting started.
Exactly.
That's right. No, just in the 6-7 area, he was just a little bit behind the sled. Looked like he slid off 6 here and just fighting. Look at that sled just drifting, both left, right, not cutting any ISO, which is super interesting.
Yeah, it's been an absolute privilege to watch this Felix Locke develop. You know, I first saw him win in 2008 in Oberhof when he came out of nowhere to win the World Championships. I think he was 17 or 18. You know, what a career.
No kidding.
And still getting better.
That's right.
So, Kristas Apajods of Latvia to get us going in our final 5.
Always one of my favorite sliders to watch as well.
Absolutely, and less than a tenth from the podium right now. So with a solid run, a good 13 and a good 9. He's done the good 2 now. Just needs to put the rest together. Apajods could do something special today.
700s back already. That's a testament to Felix's massive start he just had.
Apajods being one of the heaviest sliders on the circuit. Big, muscular, athletic man, long arms, long levers, and allows him to carry speed right into the bottom of the track, but hanging on to the exit just a little too long there. But back into the green by 800ths of a second.
Felix was perfect down here. He's got to be real solid, too.
It's not half bad, Reed. I reckon he might keep it. And he does. Oh, hit right per second. Kristas Apajods out of nowhere.
There we go.
Well, that's throwing down a marker for the final 4, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
no kidding. He just put a thread on there.
Max Langenhan sat at the top watching that, and he's got some work to do.
Absolutely. This is a race, but right there, too, just so close. Just gets it through all of these top guys. There's nothing in it.
But in classic Apajods style, just carrying that speed through the bottom 4 or 5 curves of the track and finding speed from somewhere. So it's Apajods to Locke, to Müller, to Gleischer. That's your top 4. Nico Gleischer, that is. So the world number 1 could wrap it up today, but he's got a lot to do. Because in front of him, trying to stop that from happening, is David Gleischer, Dominik Fischnaller, and Wolfgang Kinder. Competitive start, though, there from Langenhan. So the building blocks are there. 2 to 3.
Beautiful.
Langenhan starting to stretch out now, looking really comfortable on this track, considering he's had very few runs here.
Yeah, exactly. Almost a 10th up now.
Looks like it's his home track right now.
I know. This is really interesting. Let's see how he does at a corner 9 here. On the edge, just squeezes through.
Incredible feeling there on the sled. You can't put it down to anywhere else. Just doing the absolute perfect amount of work.
But there's nothing in it. It's a dead heat now. Gonna be
just dropping into second. So Appiads moves up a spot as Max Langenhan drops down a spot. It's going to be decided in Beijing next week.
Wow, all the way down to the wire. What a season.
What a season. And, you know, what an evening we've had. I mean,
no kidding.
We've had 3 classic races. You know, one's for the ages. The women's race, I thought, women's doubles was just fantastic. The men's doubles followed suit, and this is turning out to be a real battle for the top spots as Christos Appiads climbs another spot. Max Langenhan drops 1 spot into second, and that man again, Felix Locke, currently in bronze medal position. And so many stories at this track. We've just spoken about Felix looking for some type of redemption after 2018, where, you know, he made that huge mistake out of 9. And we're looking at David Gleichen, who came out of nowhere to be Olympic champion.
That's right. Had a bit of a mishap with his right hand there, getting in the settle. I don't know if that's going to throw him off his game much here. He's still in the green, looking good. Let's see how much time he has out of this next split here. 500s. He's got to be dialed in the bottom here. Oh, big mistake into 6th there. That's going to eat up a lot of time, even feeling it off the exit of 7, having to work really hard there.
A lot of height on the exit of 8 as well. Manages to salvage an excellent exit of 9, though, David Gleichen. That's showing his class through this bottom section. Bit of a rooster tail of ISO coming out on the back of the sled in 13. We're back into the red. Appiads could make it onto the podium. Gleichen's got to do something incredibly special around 16 now.
Don't think he has it. Not quite a 10th.
Back by exactly a 10th of a second. Which means that Appiads is guaranteed a bronze medal at worst.
Had that little mishap with his hand at the start. I don't think that cost him time, but it was right out of 5 there. He bumped too early onto 6. Almost looked like he one-runnered it. But right here, look at this in the settle. Goes for that 5th paddle.
Yeah.
Just avoids it getting clipped from the short wall there.
Hopefully we're going to see this bump.
Builds height there. Yep, right there. Hits that entrance and just almost knocked.
And it's still pretty flat up there, you know, so those mistakes, they just get magnified and amplified as he makes his way down the track.
Exactly.
But tiny margins. The rest of it, as you would expect, an excellent run. Here we go, Dominik Fischnaller. The most technically perfect slider, arguably, on tour.
Exactly. If there's any track where sliding can really be shown with good results, I think it's here.
Rolling through the curves, using the shoulders, just being smooth. An absolute style master on the sled.
Makes it look so easy.
It really does, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Losing a bit of time. Only a 10th up now, but that was beautiful. Beautiful exit 9 here. You know, just got to be really tidy in the bottom.
Putting the pressure on Kindle now.
That's right.
800ths up. He's got a nice cushion coming into 15 and a beautiful entrance to 15. Look, that is a beautiful 15 to 16. That lovely late height.
Just gets it.
19 thousandths of a second. Wow. Well, Wolfie Kindle's got his work cut out. That's all I can say. It's close there.
Yeah.
And if you want to put pressure on, that's the way to do it.
That's how you
do it. It's not a big margin, but it's enough to put doubts in someone's mind when they're sat up there as the last person to go.
No kidding, but if anyone can handle that, it's Wolfgang Kindle for sure.
Oh,
winning today.
Absolutely. Man's an absolute professional, you know, consummate professional, doubles and singles. You know, just so great to see him still on the tour after so many years, and still Kindle just being such a great slider against the odds of injury and so on and so forth. So here he is, Wolfgang Kindl, our final slider of the day with a 29 thousandths of a second cushion. Straight down the middle. First job done, 4 thousandths of a second back.
Back in the green here, beautiful corner 2, nice entrance into corner 3.
Now he's in the red again, but he's stretching out. He's fighting for this read.
4 thousandths, there's nothing in it here. He's got to be perfect. Back in the green.
So round corner 8. Let's see how this transition to 9 is. Beautiful corner 8 and manages to... Wow,
That's going to be tight. That's a lot of pressure that just happened in the entrance of 12 there.
Huge height in the entrance of 12. So we see 14 to 15, a little early to 15, but nothing too bad. And lovely line through.
This is going to be tight.
Wow. Wolfgang Kindl crosses the finish line towards his second gold medal of the day with almost a 1/10 of a second lead over the competition. That is Austria's Wolfgang Kindl.
Just holding on, finding that speed in the bottom, just on the absolute limit out of quarter 9 there.
Incredible and great sportsmanship from his teammates there. You know, I'm sure there's some big inter-team rivalries there, but it's great to see they're all friends. Great congratulations. Kindl absolutely tearing up trees on the start there, going for it, as he had to, with only a 29 thousandths of a second lead ahead of his competitors.
Yeah, exactly. Just really went for it. Almost lost it out of that corner 9, but just held on to it.
Yeah, that was a lot of pressure in corner 12. That would have cut down his lead significantly.
Still enough.
Absolutely still enough, and that 8-9 transition as well, when it looked like he may have bumped on a little early at the time, but, you know, the man's a professional and knows exactly what to do. As Peter Pens, look what that means to the coaching team.
Always
the
known for a big
Latvians are happy.
celebration.
Latvians have Apiods on the podium, so it looks like, unofficially, in third place right now is, well, in third place is your final results. Apiods in bronze medal, Fishnala in silver, and Kindl, your gold medalist here in PyeongChang. So as we see the runners and riders from today, Wolfgang Kindl with his second gold medal in probably 2 hours. Dominic Fishnala in silver medal position. Apiods in third, and Max Langenhan just missing out on the trinkets. In fourth place, Gleischer in fifth, and Felix Locke rolling back the years for sixth place. You see the second page of the start list, Tucker West in 12th, Johnny Gustafsson in 13th, Rinks in 11th, sorry I missed him, and Felderer I saw make top 50. There Del Negro looks like presenting the prizes, Vice President of Sport for the FIL, long-serving member of the Executive Board. Where's that Zianabeth? Can't quite see. Anyway, there goes Fishnala with his silver medal. He'll be incredibly happy with that result and deserved every piece of it, I thought. I thought he slid a fantastic race.
Absolutely, and just how calm he came out of that corner 9 too. Just owned that track.
Absolutely, and then Wolfgang Kindl just putting down a masterclass.
Absolutely, what a night this has been for Wolfgang Kindl.
The complete athlete, doubles and singles.
No kidding.
So there we have it, the top three, Apiods, Fishnala, and Kindl. Kindl just really, again, I know we use the phrase rolling back the years, it is an experienced sport, but Kindl just peaking at the right time.
Yeah, coming right back again, two wins in a single night. Crazy.
And there we go. It's close. It's tight at the top. Max still in first. Nico Gleischer still in second. And Felix Locke moving into third. This has opened up the title race between Nico Gleischer and Max Langenhan. Next week in Beijing, you cannot miss this men's singles race. This is going to be an absolute classic as these two giants battle it out for the title of World Cup champion 2025. So Reed, an incredible day's sliding. Doubles, absolutely ones for the record books. And that men's race with 3 different nations on the podium, so great to see.
No, that was an unbelievable night of racing. Super excited, super honored I got to call it with you. That was a lot of fun to watch as an armchair luge athlete. 2 armchair luge athletes. That's right.
No, this has been an absolute privilege to call this race to you, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you so much to Reed Watts for joining me in the luxury commentary shed as we look forward to tomorrow's racing. But let's look at the top 3 highlights of the day. As we see Appiod's with that beautiful exit, just inch perfect. A little bit of luck here and there, but you know, you make your own luck, as one great golfer once said. As we see Kindle, just the master. Just so close to his disaster there.
But just rode it out, committed.
So tomorrow we have a fantastic packed day. Similarly, we start with the women's singles tomorrow at 5:30, and then moved on to the mixed doubles at 8:10. This is all local Korean time.
On your podium
and then
here.
finishing off.
You've been here 7 years ago for the last time. Tell us, how was it being back?
Thank you very much. It's as the first day I came here, it felt like these 7 years flew so fast, and it felt like it was already yesterday. Also the feeling, the atmosphere here at the track, the shapes, the curves, and the speed in this track, and the challenging nine curve and the chicane. Everything is in the same place. So I knew that I just need to get together all in here and physically. So yeah, and the whole week trainings was very good, and then clean runs, and I felt like very confident. I just wanted to do 2 clean runs at the competition. First wasn't so clean as I wanted, but second was way better, and I'm happy with my 3rd race. Thank you.
Just as Appiod sounds like he wants more. He recognized that first run wasn't optimal. So when he gets 2 good runs in a row, what can this man do? Wonderful sliding from the Latvian today. Just finishing off with what we have tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, our final event, local Korean time at 21:15, 9:15 p.m. will be the mixed singles. We have an incredible day of racing for you.
Congratulations on your silver here. How was the track for you?
It was really good today. I really liked this track here. I was very happy when I knew it was on the schedule this year and we are coming back. So I already came here, had some good runs in training, and felt also good today.
It was one of your best results of the season. How do you go into the last race now?
Yeah, I mean, I like when we are away from Germany and from Europe, you know, so here everything is a little bit equal. So with good runs, you can make the difference, and I hope I will be on the podium in China again.
So Dominic Fischnaller with an incredibly well-deserved silver medal, and like he said, hopefully more to come there from the South Tyrolean. Just wonderful sliding from Fischnaller. One of those athletes that
Kofi, congratulations after the doubles, now also in singles a win. How does it feel?
It was just an amazing day. It's incredible that something like this is possible. And thanks to everybody who supports me, all the coaches, family at home. Everybody, without you, it would not be possible. It's just an amazing day. Doubles was, I knew that we had chances in double, but the victory, it was unbelievable. In singles, I was really fast during the whole training, but races is something else, and I was a little bit nervous on the start because I knew that the guys, they did good runs, but just incredible, amazing. Thanks.
Well, that's an interesting point made by Wolfgang Kindl. He was a little bit nervous on the start. He didn't look it. Nerves of steel, that man. And an incredibly well-deserved gold medal in this World Cup in PyeongChang. It's been a wonderful day. The singles was absolutely first class, but those two doubles races were ones for the ages. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join us tomorrow at 5:30 Korean time with the first run of the women's singles, and we'll be going through till 9:15 p.m. with the mixed singles, and we'll see you there tomorrow. I've been Mark Hatton. Reed Watts has been with me tonight. Good night.